When I record podcasts, I like to stay hydrated. Who knew talking could be so hard? My favourite drink to have to hand is Lifeline's Hydro OG. It's a tried and tested product for me. It helped me and my team complete a 24-hour podcast, giving us the edge that we needed to get over the finish line. So whether you're at the gym, on a bike ride, or just trying to get over that night before, Lifeline's Hydro OG has got your back. Each serving is stocked with all the healthy ingredients and vitamins you could ask for. There are a great range of flavours, and with each serving at only 18 calories, you really can't go wrong. Here at the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast, we like to support local, independent companies and brands, and Lifelines is a product that I am proud to endorse. Go to lifelines.com. Now that's LYFELINEZ.com to find out more. Now, without further ado, here is today's episode. Hi guys, and welcome to this special edition of the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. We're set up at Shrewsbury Ark today for this one, and I'm joined with the amazing Katy Rink from My Shrewsbury Magazine. And this is an episode designed to take a look into the lives of the people that Shrewsbury Ark help. There are a few subjects in this podcast that people may find a bit upsetting, and they might be a bit triggering for people, but nonetheless, these are the issues that the users of the Ark face every single day. And this is to start off a collection of work that we're going to start working on with the Ark, with My Shrewsbury. We can't say too much, but this is just the start. I mean, this was just me introducing myself, getting the microphones into the Ark, and showing people that the Shrewsbury Biscuit is for literally everybody, and it's nothing that the users of the Ark should be afraid of. So this is a great episode. I hope you enjoy it. And I really do appreciate your feedback or your support. If anybody wants to support the Ark in any way, please follow them on social media, Shrewsbury Ark, and give them whatever support they need, whether it's volunteering at the Ark or donations, what have you. But yeah, thank you so much to the guys at the Ark and to Katy as well for joining me on this one. I hope you enjoy it. Also, as well, I want to make you aware of a couple of events that we're talking about this week. The first one is the Drawn event. If you followed the Biscuit for a while, you'll know that we've been working with Drawn for the last few years, right from the very beginning. It's a collection of some of Shropshire and a bit further afield as well. Some great artists that will turn up, and they'll be selling their wares, but speaking to people. But there'll also be artists there as well, doing their thing. Gary Drew likes to come along and paint. If you don't know what Gary Drew's work, the pink flamingo on the side of the 7th Social, he's one of our greatest artists that does a lot of work around here. So he'll be there doing his thing, and the Shrewsbury Biscuit will be there too. We're going to take some cameras and some microphones. It's a great event. It will be on the Flax Mill on the 29th to the 30th of April. So that's Drawn. Make sure you check out the Facebook page. It's literally just Drawn, and it's got the beautiful orange logo there. Also, the next one is an evening with the Dirty Rockin' Scoundrels on the 13th of May. It's a great event. It's a charity event featuring one of the Midlands' greatest bands. It's put together to raise money for Kate Vaughan's London Marathon attempt to raise money for WizKids. And it's just £10 admission. It's at the Shrewsbury High School in town, on Town Walls there. It's a cheap evening with a great band. You're raising money for charity, and there's a great bar there too. You can't go wrong with this event. Honestly, if you've never seen the Dirty Rockin' Scoundrels, I promise you you're going to have a great night. Anyway, look, guys, I hope you enjoy this episode. We'll go into it now. Peace out, folks. I've hit record. So we're at Shrewsbury Ark. By my side, I have Katy Rink of My Shrewsbury fame. Hello.
Hello.
And Emily, I don't know what you are. What's your role here at the Ark?
I'm the chair of the trustees.
You're chair of the trustees.
Yeah.
So you're here pretty much every day, seeing everything as it happens before your very eyes.
Yes, not every day anymore. I have been recently, but less and less. I'm a volunteer, so.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. You're allowed a day off. Were you here before the Ark moved?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah. I've been a volunteer for 10 years.
Oh, I haven't spoken to the Ark since you guys moved. I think I spoke to you guys a couple of years before. How was that move?
It was. Well, it's just been an absolute blessing, but quite a scary and traumatic blessing. But yeah, we're in a much better venue,
yes.
as you can probably see, much bigger, so we can welcome loads more people.
I was very surprised as I walked in here how many people are here helping out. The kitchen was buzzing. There's so many users here, and what we're here today is to talk to you guys and to talk to the users today. And we've got a user of the Ark today with us. Would you like to introduce yourself to the listeners? No? You're nervous? Yeah? Well, what we're here to do today is we are here to give you guys a voice. I want to hear your stories so that we can understand more about your world. Where we can talk about the good things, the bad things, the Ark, what that offers to you. Do you get a lot of help from the Ark?
Yes, with my washing and having a bath, a shower, and food as well, the breakfast and the dinners.
Yeah, the breakfast smelled amazing this morning as I came in. Are you here most mornings for breakfast?
No, I call by a couple times a month.
A couple times a month?
Yes.
Okay. And you're just Shrewsbury local, or do you travel around?
Travel around.
You travel around. And what's the situation with you? Are you sleeping on the streets, or do you find somewhere to stay?
I sleep by the railway lines or by the rivers and wherever I can bed down.
Oh.
Where have you coming from today?
I come from Wolverhampton today.
We never know where. Do you mind if I use your first name? Are you all right with that? Or would you rather I didn't?
I'd rather you didn't.
Okay, so we're very, very fond of this person here, and we always love it when he comes to visit us. But we never quite know where you're coming in from. You go all over the county, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. But you struggle with the buses, don't you?
Yes, I got banned off the buses because of the way I used to cross-dress, and there were complaints, and then I was no better when I toned down. They said I was this and that, and the bus driver told me that people will not travel if I'm travelling on the bus with them, and they were talking on the website there. They got a website for talking about mechanicking, and they were having me over some chat fit line or whatever. I don't know what it is. I haven't found out, and I never find out what they were talking about.
And people were calling you names, weren't they? I think.
Yes.
Quite cruel.
How does it make you feel when people treat you like that?
I just try to hold my temper and just let it go by.
Is this something that you see every day, or is it just every now and again?
Most days.
Most days. Do you see any kindness at all? Are people?
Some people are, but they're queuing the shop and making fun of me, or this and that, and spraying. I was in a library and they was spraying the room where I was, and I had clean clothes on, so.
How hard is it when you're sleeping out there to look after yourself and stay clean and do all the basic things you need?
Well, I don't stay clean, do I? I don't know.
Stay a lot cleaner than I would. Pretty impressive. And I think you can tell you've got an amazing sense of dress sense. Always in a stunning outfit. And we were trying to look for a nice dress for you, weren't we?
Yes.
I think I'd love to see you in a dress and for you to be feeling good about yourself.
Yeah, but
people are cruel, so.
I think discrimination is cruel in any form of society. If you want to cross dress, if you want to wear dresses, then by all means, please do. Do what makes you feel happy. And
yeah, I was a lot happier. Somebody said that how much happier I was, but it's just impossible to please everybody.
And how many years have you been without a roof over your head?
30 years.
30 years. And that's in the winter as well,
Yes.
Gosh, how do you manage in the winter?
With great difficulty. I do have jobs. I've just finished a little job, 6 days work, and that which come to an end.
What was the job you did?
Lambing ewes.
Oh wow, that's fantastic! Bringing life into the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
You love plants and animals, don't you?
Yes.
You brought the most beautiful hyacinth in for us, didn't you? And I know you're interested in the bit of gardening that's been going on.
No, I'm not interested in gardening after that accident I was in.
Yeah. Can you tell us about the accident?
I was on a bus. I was going to the races, and I had the tickets to go to the horse racing, and halfway going there, a car ran into the bus. And I was in the seatbelt. The man fell from behind me, and I sort of didn't realise that he had hit me. And then the police come, and I said, "Well, I got a headache," which I had a headache by then. And the policewoman said, "Do you want to go to hospital?" I thought, "I want to go to the races. I don't want to go to hospital." And I regret now that I never went to hospital, because I was in severe pain that afternoon. I never went to the races. I turned back. I just couldn't face it because I had a headache. And then that afternoon I had pain. And then I went to the hospital the following morning, and they said, "Oh, we can't do an X-ray." And then they found out that I had something missing on this thing in here. And I said, "Well, I've broken my collarbone, other collarbone, and this has got, now I've got something missing here, I don't know what it is." And they said, and I told them straight, if it wasn't for me getting on that bus, I wouldn't be like this, and I've been in pain ever since, from a terrible today it is.
It's hard to get proper healthcare, isn't it, when you're moving around? And
Yes.
it's difficult to see a doctor.
Yes.
When was the last time you saw a doctor?
Oh, when I saw them in last November.
Yeah, in the hospital. Yeah.
Sorry.
Can I ask you about other users of the Ark and people you see on your travels?
Yes.
In similar situations to you? What kind of community is it like? Do you guys are you kind to each other? Have you got friends that you see now and again? What is it like for you?
I haven't got many friends in Shrewsbury, but I've got some away. And no, it's not. Some places aren't very good because the one in Yorkshire, I said, "Oh, good morning" to them, and they all ignored me. So I don't go there much now.
So what's the furthest away that you'll go to when you're travelling around?
Inverness.
Oh my goodness me. Do you go on the trains or is it the bus?
No, I'd lift there. Somebody takes me there to Inverness.
And do you have people around the country that you can do a bit of sofa surfing with and go and stay
Yeah,
with?
sort of thing, yes.
Well, you're very well travelled. You must get a lot of culture when you're on your travels.
Yes.
Yeah?
So what about Shropshire? What do you think? Tell us some of the kindest places. Where do you get the best help from, do you say?
Or have a meal at the cafe Palmer's.
Palmer's, yeah. Go shout out. Yeah.
Yes. And that's the only places I go to in the Ark. And on the Ark, I like it here in some ways.
And they're kind to you at Palmer's, are they?
Yes.
What do you like to eat there?
I just have a cup of coffee. That's all I have, actually.
That's it's really nice of them to do that. What kind of reception do you get if you go into businesses or shops here in Shrewsbury? Are people kind to you if you walk in, or if you go and ask for things, or if you're around?
I haven't got much experience I only go into Marks and Spencer's.
You're a bit shy, aren't you, to go in some places?
Yes.
I remember when we were talking about getting you some clothes and you hadn't had some great experiences, so we're still trying, aren't we? Still trying to find the perfect fit for you.
Yes.
And did you grow up in Shropshire? Is that where you
No,
come from?
Herefordshire.
Hereford. So what brings you to Shropshire? What drives you here? Is it the Ark itself?
Oh, I got a sort of a part-time job around here, but
Is that a farming job? A job?
yeah, and here I'm riding horses.
Okay. So was that your background? You've got some.
Yes, I worked in Newmarket when I was 17. I worked in racing stables on stud farms.
And so when did it kind of come unstuck for you? When did you lose a roof over your head?
Oh, I got into trouble, and I'm still in trouble.
Not with us, you're not.
No.
Well, I think it's magnificent that you've travelled so much of the country as you have. You've travelled far more than I have, for sure, across the UK. With what little you have, it's actually quite inspirational, I think.
Yes.
If anybody is going to listen to this and they're in a similar situation to you, where they don't have a roof over their head, they don't have much, what advice would you give them?
Take every day as you can, and just hope that you can get into a better environment.
So do you have some positive memories and experiences from all that travelling? Are there times where being outside is a positive thing for you?
There's one certain person who's very good to me. I go and help out with their horses, and we go to the races at Kempton and Lingfield and Market Raisin, and might be going to Newcastle before long.
Thank you so much for speaking to us today. It's been really nice to meet you. Have you got any more questions, Katie?
I would like to ask you how you protect yourself. What things do you do to?
I did have one of those what's the name things, but and nobody about, is there?
What, like a rape alarm kind
Yeah, sort of thing. Yeah. I had one, but I haven't got one now.
What kinds of things have you learned about, like, where to sleep to keep safe and what to do with your possessions?
Well, I don't know. Just hope I'm all right. That's all.
Do you have a sleeping bag that you carry around with you?
Yeah, I do, but I haven't got it with me today. Left it at the other place.
And do you just kind of shovel your stuff to the end of the sleeping bag to keep it safe?
Yes, yeah.
Is that how you do it? Yeah.
Do you have places away from shelters like this where you'll be safe and you'll be able to get sleep without being disturbed?
Yeah.
Secret places that you've learned over the years?
A cave.
There's cave.
Yeah, I know where a cave is.
Which county is that in?
I'm not saying.
He's keeping it a secret.
Yeah.
He's like, this is my cave.
I'm very secretive. He said because when that horse went at a certain race meeting, and we were talking about this. Somebody we met. I know who they were. They was quite well-known person, and they were talking to me, and I said, so and so will win this, and I said the name of this horse and that, and when this horse wins. And they said, they come to me after, they said, you're the man in the know, aren't you? I said, yeah, I did know something.
Well, you've got a lot of knowledge and a lot of skills.
Yeah.
Right,
is that what makes you happiest, going to the races and seeing them?
Yeah, horses getting killed is what I don't like. Like, we had a horse, one place I go to, they had a horse. She had a heart attack, and that wasn't very nice.
Yeah. So it's part of like seeing like the Grand National things.
Yeah,
like when they...
and then we're doing another in the National, because the two I did it in 1 year, they're synchronised, and Semming Pete, they both got killed. And I'm never going to do another horse in the National.
Because it breaks your heart to see that happen.
They're disgusting. And it was what happened.
Well, thank you so much for speaking to us today. It's been really nice to meet you. Have you got any more questions, Katie?
No, just to thank you very, very much for talking to us today. It's lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves? We had a conversation before you guys sat down.
Yeah, I'm Andy. I'm part of the Hepatitis C team. So we go around. Well, do you want to introduce yourself first?
Yeah, I can do. So I'm Jamie McLaren. I'm the peer support lead for Birmingham and the West Midlands for the Hep C Trust. And as part of that, basically the work we do, we go out into lots of different community settings, such as the Ark, all over the place really, pharmacies, prisons, hostels. And basically we take the testing to the people rather than expecting people to come to us, just because we understand that the community that we're dealing with generally aren't very good at, caring about themselves, that they're not really good at getting to appointments. They don't follow the same kind of, track as everybody else might do, especially if they know they've got something wrong with them.
Yeah.
That can be like a really scary thing. So sometimes them actually going to ask somebody about it can be really scary. So we place ourselves in these, organisations to basically find people who've put themselves at risk.
Wow. How long have you guys been doing this for individually, sort of?
I've been doing it for 18 months now.
Yourself, Jamie?
I only started in January, so I'm very new at this.
Okay, so we've got two different perspectives then. So we've got a year and a half here, and we've got just brand new. So we start off with year and a half, experiences and people that you've met along the way.
Well, we've also got another two different experiences. I've got lived experience of hepatitis C. I contracted hepatitis C myself through, I'm an ex-user. So, I've got that. I'm coming from that point of the same people. We're the same people we're targeting. And I'll tell you a little bit about the Hepatitis C Trust first, really. It started in the idea formed in the year 2000. There was 4 guys in London in a coffee shop, realised they was all diagnosed with hepatitis C. They realised there was only over 500 charities for HIV, and there was absolutely nothing for hepatitis C. And any information that they did get was either really misleading. So the idea was formed in 2000 and it was off the ground in 2001, and it's developed into the largest peer-led organisation in the world.
Wow.
But also I suppose we're threefold. We test, we treat and we educate, because there's a lot of stigma around hepatitis.
As there is a lot of sort of illnesses and diseases and things that you may read about on Facebook or you hear off your friend or what's the most common misconceptions with hepatitis?
Well, there's lots really, but I suppose people I wouldn't say so much ignorance, it's just lack of education and thinking that you can catch hepatitis C from sharing the same cup or cutlery or something like that. It is a blood-borne virus, and it's predominantly injecting drug users. So we also do training. We try to educate people on the infection routes and things like that, and also the new treatment, because the treatment back in the day used to be horrendous. It was a form of chemotherapy, and you had to inject yourself for a year, take a tablet every day, and most people were bedridden for a year, and it was only 60% clearance rate. So you could go through that for a whole year and you could still be positive at the end of it. Whereas today, treatments come on leap and bounds. It's 1 tablet a day for either 8 weeks or for 12 weeks, depending on your genotype, and it's just over 97% clearance rate.
That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. I've been doing it 18 months and I haven't met anyone who hasn't cleared it. And
how dangerous is the disease, Hep C?
It's the thing with hepatitis C is your liver has no nerve endings, so if you get no pain, there's no pain from it, and a lot of people won't get any symptoms. They can have it for 15, 20 years, and by the time you develop symptoms, it's the later stages, which it can be deadly. You know, you can get cirrhosis of the liver, cancers of the liver. You know, so the earlier we pick up on it, and the earlier we get it treated, the better.
Wow.
Go on. Sorry, I was just going to say, how helpful is it, do you think, to the people that you're seeing, for you to be able to say, I've been through this?
Massively. You know, because I mean, when I contracted it, I was really scared about the treatment because it was the old treatment. So being able to educate the people and say, actually, it's just like taking a vitamin every morning. You know, I didn't have any side effects. I just got up, took a tablet. 3 months later, I cleared it.
And that's really, really important, isn't it? Because, like, you know, when we think about the HIV, was it a pandemic or an epidemic? But you know, that era where people were making things up. They wouldn't be in the same room as someone with HIV. People were getting discriminated in the workplace because of HIV. I bet you've seen a lot of that over the years.
Yeah, you know? Like I was saying, we have been into places and where staff have said, "Oh, I need a test. I drank out the same cup," and you know, to begin with, it make you a little bit angry, but it's just lack of education, and you've got to understand where they're coming from. You know, they just don't know. So we try to educate and all that as well. But even with HIV nowadays, the treatment for HIV is that good. You can't get rid of it, but you can get the viral load so low it's undetectable. You know, so and generally people that have been diagnosed with HIV nowadays and take the tablets, they change their lifestyle, so they're living longer. You know, it's not a death sentence as we knew it, like, you know.
Amazing. And I feel like the work that you guys are doing, you know, Jamie, you've just come into this now. You are transforming lives in a way that, you know, like you're saying, like, you know, users, people that might come and see you guys didn't know that help was available before, and now they do. They can come see you guys and get tested regularly.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, it's we're very non-judgmental. We are relatable. We, like Andy was saying, we're the biggest peer program in the world because everybody who works with the Hep C Trust has either had Hep C or has an understanding of Hep C or has, you know, had an addiction themselves, or understands the lifestyle. And so when we're dealing with very vulnerable people, hopefully we're creating like a really safe environment. It's non-judgmental. They don't think they're going to be punished or told off. You know, and we end up getting a really good rapport and relationship. And actually, we're always looking for peers as well. So people who have contracted Hep C, they've cleared it, they've had the treatment, they've had support from ourselves. What we'd like to do then is then support them into our peer program, and then, you know, ultimately gets them into paid work. That's what we want to do. That's why the peer program is so important.
Is that how you got into this, Andy, through the peer program?
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah.
And what difference has that made to your life?
Massively. It's given me a purpose to get up in the morning. It's given me the opportunity to come into wonderful places like this. And so big shout out to you. I think it's absolutely amazing what you do here. You know, and I hope you get as much support as you need here. It's absolutely great. You know, yeah, it's given me a purpose. I'll get to meet different, so not clientele, but different people every day, you know, and also we try to like break the stigma of addiction as well, you know. I mean, nobody had aspirations to be an homeless addict when they was young, you know. Everybody's got a story, you know, but how many people, you know, take the time to actually stop and talk to that person begging on the street, do you know what I mean? They might throw a pound in, but nobody really stops and tries to understand who they are or what they've been through, and everybody's got a story, you know, so
have you spoken to people along your travels where they had a negative view and you've kind of helped them understand this situation?
Yeah, again, you know, certain people that might work in certain fields, you know, they've got, they're homeless addicts and, you know, even just in day-to-day life, chatting to certain people. I mean, I've had it, people come up to me and say, I never thought you was an addict, you know, and I'm still an addict, I just don't use anymore, you know. I still have to address issues daily and, you know, to make sure I don't pick up again. And you know, it's just trying to get a bit of understanding out there and educate people as to, you know, everybody's got a story. Everybody shouldn't look down on people unless you're helping them up, you know, really. And I think society would be a better place if we all had that attitude, but unfortunately we don't, you know.
Yeah, a bit more compassion.
Yeah, definitely.
You say you travel to places like the Ark here today, and you say prisons as well, and different places. Where do you think you're needed the most amongst your travels, along your travels?
It's a difficult one to say because the community that we support, they're very transient, so they are moving from place to place all the time. You get lots and lots of people.
We just met a gentleman now who's travelled all the length of the country.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to say where the real need is. Obviously, people are more populated in a city, so it's probably easier to find people in a city. However, what we find is in areas like this where we're very rural, it's really difficult because there's lots of pockets of people that we have real difficulty accessing. But what is amazing as well is the Hep C Trust actually also employ people that are still using. So, because the reason for that is that the only way sometimes that we can get into the pockets of people that aren't accessing drug services, that aren't coming to food banks, that aren't coming to organisations such as the Ark, they just, in flats, they're very isolated. It's almost like impossible to try and get into those groups of people.
Yeah.
So if we are, if we're working alongside people who are still in that situation, but that they don't want to be, that they want to make a change, and we see that they're going to be really good person to work with us. It leads us then to other cases. And if we can treat people, then what's happening is they're not going to be passing it on. So we want to treat the people, we want to get rid of the Hep C. So if they are sharing any kind of equipment, they're not going to be infecting other people, because reinfection's a really big thing with Hep C. Even once you've had it, you can actually get it again. Although you'll get the antibodies in your system, they don't protect you from getting the virus again. So again, it's that education that we really need to get out to people. Yes, I've had it once. Oh, it's okay, I'm immune. Well, actually, that's not actually how it works.
Well, we all saw during the pandemic how people make up their own rules of things, and we're all schooled on that over the last few years. It's really nice that you guys have a very compassionate approach to this, because there are people we've been talking, me and Katie, about what we're doing here for a while. We had a meeting last week and we're talking about people that fall in the sort of grey area, fall out of the system, like you said, aren't going to doctors, aren't seeing people, so they might actually be reintroduced to the kindness of treatment through folks like yourself. So it's really positive what you're doing. Because sometimes people can be judgmental, whether it's a doctor, whether it's wherever they're going. Sometimes there is that kind of judgment. You guys are kind of really compassionate, which is nice.
And what you'll find as well is a lot of people have probably had really bad experiences with medical professionals over the years, feeling like they're, a drain on society, or you've put yourself in this position. There's going to be lots of professionals that have said things to people that will just be a massive barrier, and I think, God, I'm not going again. Last time I got treated really horribly. So with ourselves, we kind of like try and be the link in between themselves and the nurses. And I mean, the nurses that we have in this area and in lots of different areas in Birmingham and in Stafford and Cannock and Stoke, we're so lucky. The nurses that we have are just like ourselves. So although they haven't necessarily come from a lived experience background, they just want to help people. They don't care how somebody's got themselves in that position. They just want to help and make things better and save lives.
Nice. If somebody needs your help, or maybe even wants to help you guys out, how can they find you?
So we hepatitisc.org.uk, or just Google Hepatitis C Trust. We have an internet presence. I suppose other than that, it's just
and we're at the Ark every 4 weeks. So today, every 4 weeks, we are here. So if anyone then wants to come down, and generally, if somebody needs help and support, if they come down to the Ark have got our details. Even if we're not going to be here for another 3 or 4 weeks, we'll absolutely come down.
I've got to say, and this is going to sound really terrible, by the way, but I'm in company, so I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised today how welcoming it is here, and that's not me coming in and being judgmental. I feel comfortable here. I don't know about you, Katie, but it's all right here, isn't it? If you want to walk and get advice, you could.
Places like this are a lifeline. It's absolutely brilliant. And going back to being judgmental, I've met a guy here today who lost his job last week. He was working last week. He's lost his place to live. Especially in today's climate, people are probably 1 or 2 mortgage payments away from being in this.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, just trying to be a bit understanding about people. And like you say, this is a brilliant place. It's absolutely brilliant. And some of the nicest people I've met are homeless addicts. They don't, they do what they have to do to survive, but they don't really want to do that, And it's unfortunate that, they're in that position. And sometimes just need a little help up. And like I say, places like this are a lifeline. I've been here twice, and it's beautiful what you do. Absolutely beautiful. And people are so nice here, yeah, really are.
Yeah. Well, I'll pass that on to the Ark. We're just here to ask questions today.
I thought you would. Yeah. Sorry.
Have you got any more questions, Katie, before we...
No, I just think it's amazing, Andy, that you are willing to share your story to help other people. It's really inspiring, and you're clearly brilliant at it.
He is.
You both are. Thank you very much.
Thank you for chatting to us, guys.
Nice to meet you, and thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, so I'm from the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast today, and this is Katie from My Shrewsbury, and we're trying to capture some voices today from the Ark, from users of the Ark and from staff too. May I ask about your situation? How long have you been using the Ark for?
Well, I've been homeless 15 months now.
15 months.
Yeah.
May I ask what happened? How
I
did
was
you...
evicted. Thing is, I suffer from schizophrenia.
Okay.
My partner died, and people were coming in my flat, using my flat to smoke their drugs, basically.
Okay.
They used me. I had no control over it. I felt completely useless.
That's called cuckooing, isn't it? Cuckooing.
Yeah.
Yeah, people use your property.
Yeah. And I lost my flat. They evicted me. So I'm banned off Home Point. I can't get, what's it called? Like Viking housing and stuff like that. I can't get that.
Oh, no.
So I'm a bit stuck. I've got to go private.
So for the last 15 months, have you been like sofa surfing, or have you actually been on the...
Well, I've been on the streets, but sofa surfing at the moment.
You were just showing us a picture of the cutest bird on your phone.
Yeah, she's my bird, but she's had to stay with somebody now.
Of course.
Homeless.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get her back as soon as I get somewhere to live.
Yeah. I was going to ask about pets, actually, because sometimes you see members of this community with dogs or with pets. Is that something you've considered before, having a pet with you?
No, just me bird.
Just your bird?
Just me bird. I don't want a dog or anything like that.
No. What is Shrewsbury? I mean, like, obviously the predicament you're in at the moment is not the best.
Yeah.
You know, as a place to be in your situation, what's Shrewsbury like?
I like Shrewsbury. This is where I want to live.
Yeah?
I was in Oswald Street before.
You were in Oswald Street?
I don't want to go back there.
No.
I don't want to know the people there. I want a new life, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's very positive that you've realised that they're
not my friends, you know what I mean?
There's a pocket of people there that were a negative influence, maybe. Yeah. Sorry.
Has the Ark helped you since you've been here a lot?
No, it's been great, the Ark. You know, I can do my washing here, I can eat, get meals here, clothes.
And where are you sleeping at night at the moment?
I'm sofa surfing at the moment.
And how many nights have you had outdoors in all that time?
Oh, about 7 months.
In the open air?
Yeah.
Wow. So where have you been going to find?
Well, I was sleeping in Oswald Street on the streets.
Gosh. Even in the winter? My goodness. So how do you keep yourself safe?
Well, I used to go to a skip that was behind a charity shop, and they always chuck duvets out, so got a duvet.
Okay, I don't want to like traumatize you and take you through negative memories and stuff, but can you take us through a night? What does a night? How does it go for you when you know you're going to be out in the open air?
It's horrible. It's not scary. I'm not scared.
No.
But I hear voices, so it's really hard, you know, when you're on the street.
Have you got medication you're supposed to take?
Yeah, I've got medication.
And have you always got that, or are there days you miss your medication?
No, I always take it.
Always take it. That's good. That's good. I'm glad that you get that help.
Yeah.
Because I imagine it's not easy.
No, it doesn't get rid of the voices.
No.
Just makes me calm, you know what I mean?
So when you know you're going to be out in the open air for the night, is it a case of finding somewhere to stay, or do you know where you're going?
Oh, I know where I'm going.
Yeah?
Yeah. I just sleep in the doorway.
Yeah. And can you just go straight to sleep, or I mean, what is it?
No, I'm usually awake.
Yeah.
Yeah, just cover myself and stay awake.
Do you get really bored on the street?
Yeah.
You've got nothing to do. How do you kind of fill all those hours?
We'll just sit there really and wait for the time to go.
Do you talk to people?
Now and again, yeah, when I'm begging, yeah.
And do you find that, because now obviously people don't really carry cash?
I know, yeah.
So that must make begging incredibly difficult.
Yeah, it is hard.
What other ways? I'm sorry we're firing all these questions at you. I really want to know about this.
Yeah.
Because this might help people, understand and have a bit more compassion for somebody in your situation.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do today. But what other ways are people kind to you? You away from giving you money? Did people
Food, they give me food.
Yeah.
I've had sofas to sleep on. People have let me stay.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Is that strangers, random people? Have said
No, people I know.
friends have let you stay? And can you strike up a conversation with people in the streets? Do they, members of the public?
Now and again.
Do you feel that they look at you like a fellow human being, or like?
No, like dirt, really.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, and how does that make you feel when they?
Oh, it's horrible.
It kind of hurts you.
Yeah, I had one bloke that jumped out of his BMW. He had his wallet in his hand. He'd run over to me, all excited, and I thought, oh yeah, I'm gonna, he gave me 13p.
Why? Why 13p?
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Is he being rude? do you
I think so. Yeah.
Taking the mick, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's rough.
But places like the Ark, I feel this is a nice place.
Yeah, it's great.
How often do you come
Every
here?
day. If I
Every
can.
day.
Yeah.
And is it nice to see people?
Yeah, it's nice
Here?
to mingle.
You got friends
yeah.
here?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Seems like a nice community where you know people, see familiar faces,
Yeah.
know you're not going to be judged, that sort of thing.
And they're all in the same situation. Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
So what's the future hold for you, do you think, from here?
You know what? Honestly, I can't see a future.
It's really sad.
Yeah, I can't.
Is that there's no future without a roof over you?
Yeah, I need to get a house so I can get my bird back. It's horrible.
So tell us about your bird. You took Maxi Moo.
Maxi Moo Moo.
Maxi Moo Moo.
How old is Maxi Moo?
She's 8.
Aww.
And she's a very sweary bird by the sounds of it.
She does swear.
She swears.
Yeah. She shouts out, "Help me" as well. And that's not good. You can hear it down the road.
What support are you getting here from the Ark? I mean, I know you said that you can wash your clothes here.
Well,
and I've smelt the food. The food smells amazing here. But do they offer you support in other ways?
Yeah, Ursula's wrote a letter to the council about my situation and haven't even bothered to get back.
Why is that, do you think?
I don't know.
Is it just they're overloaded?
I've got a housing officer there and she hasn't even been in touch with me.
Right. Is it just takes a long time to get through, or?
Well, no, I mean, I've tried to phone her last week and they said she was on a 29-day holiday.
Right.
But she still hasn't been in touch.
Right. And will the Ark help you with that then?
Yeah. And they help with the deposit and everything for a flat.
We heard, was it yourself that was on the phone to Pip? Are you still on the phone to Pip now?
No, 40 minutes I waited.
40 minutes. Does that happen a lot for you?
All the time.
Do you have these services like Pip, and if you have a problem and you need to get in touch with them?
I've rung Pip about 6 times in the last 2 weeks, and I've waited about 40 minutes, 50 minutes to get through.
And is that on your own phone, or do you come to the Ark?
No, on my phone.
So people from Pip expect you guys to be able to have your own credit to be able to ring.
Yeah.
So you guys, if you didn't have that phone or you didn't have the Ark to come and use, you'd fall right in a grey area where you couldn't actually get in touch with people you needed the help from the most, could you?
That's right.
That's really sad.
Can you just explain for the listeners what PIP is and what they do, what they're there?
No, it's like a disability payment.
Yeah.
I get it because of schizophrenia.
And why did you need to contact them today?
Oh, I had a review and me form hasn't come. So they're resending a form.
So do you feel that you're constantly battling this kind of
all the time.
admin?
All the time.
Yeah.
It sounds exhausting.
Yeah, it is.
You know, because you're awake all night by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I am.
You know,
Because of my voices, it's really bad. I can't get to sleep at night.
Yeah.
So I'm awake for about 4 or 5 days, and then I'm that tired, I fall asleep. And then I'm awake again for 4 or 5 days.
do you have days when you're more manic than others?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I ask you do you struggle with addictions? Have you become?
I was a heroin addict for 23 years.
Were you? My goodness.
I've been clean 15 months now.
Fantastic. That's amazing.
No methadone. I'm off the methadone as well.
So during these hard times that you faced, you've stayed clean.
Yeah, no heroin.
That's commendable. That really is commendable.
Yeah.
Well done. Seriously, well done.
How did you manage to come off it in the end?
Well, I was on 50 mil of meth,
Yeah.
and meth's really hard to come off. So I thought what I'll do is chuck the meth and have a bag of heroin a day. So I did that for a week. And then another week I had half a bag a day. And then I thought, well, what's the point? So I just stopped.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Kind of by yourself.
I was a bit ill, but yeah.
When it comes to drugs and you've been able to have access to your methadone back in the day when you were taking it, is that easy here? Can you get the support for the drugs very easily while you're on the streets?
Yeah, you get support.
Yeah, it's easily accessible. I think it's one of those situations where homelessness is visible to us every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially living in Shrewsbury, we see it every single day. But yet, we don't hear these conversations enough. We don't feel like we can have these conversations enough. Would you like it if people come up and spoke to you about your issues and would sit next to you and have conversations with you?
Yeah, that'd be good, yeah.
Yeah?
Instead of looking down on me.
Yeah.
And what do you think when you see people walk by with their nice cars and their nice clothes and their nice lives?
I'm gutted because when I had my flat, I had a car, I had everything. My bird, I was going out at weekends, enjoying myself. I lost everything. And then when I left, half of my stuff was still in the flat. They got rid of all my stuff, so I've lost about £3,000 worth of stuff out of the flat. My fishing stuff, and they've chucked everything they have.
Fishing? You like fishing?
Yeah.
In the river?
Yeah.
In Shrewsbury? Where do you
Well, no, they've took all my fishing stuff and chucked it. They put a notice on the door of my old flat saying I had to get my stuff out by a certain time, but they'd put me in a hotel in Chester, so how can I read it? So I didn't know, you know what I mean?
That's hard, isn't it? It seems to me like they're putting things at arm's length away from you all the time.
Yeah.
You know, if you want,
And they've charged me £2,500 for eviction.
I'm very sorry to hear that. I really am. I just want you to know that there are friends out there for you.
Yeah.
You know, when people are walking by you, I mean, I will walk past homeless people all the time, but I'll also stop and sit and talk.
Yeah.
Usually, I when I get into town, I'm like A to B, B to A, get in and out as quick as possible, because being out in public and around people is kind of like not my strongest point.
I don't like that.
But there are people out there that do care.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want you to feel like you're on your own, because there are people out there that care. What would you say to someone listening to this who have very just recently found themselves in the situation you were in 15 months ago, being evicted and being on the streets? What advice would you give them?
Oh, God. Don't change. Stay yourself. Get out there and beg. And try for a flat, you know. Look for a flat. Get a house.
Yeah.
But be safe, you know.
It's interesting you say get out there and beg, because, you know, with the alternative giving windows, from the town's point of view, there's a real push to get people to donate in other ways and not to give directly to people on the street.
Yeah.
What would you say about that?
I don't know. I mean, a lot of people on the street, I know they drink and stuff like that, and the money goes on the drink and drugs and whatever. But they got to eat. You know, they spend the money on food.
What about when people bring you food and stuff?
Oh, that's great.
Money. That's a good thing to do.
Yeah, that's good.
People food. Yeah.
I think I've really enjoyed talking to you, because I'm really happy that and kind of understanding your situation from a compassionate level, from an understanding level. Is there anything that you would like to say to the community? Is there anything that you would like to voice? Because I think it's really important that anything you're angry about, anything you're concerned about, anything you're happy about.
I think the main thing is just don't judge me. Don't judge homeless people. Talk to them, find out what it's about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Give them a chance. They have addictions for a reason.
Yeah.
It's an illness.
It sounds like you guys go through so much pain every single day.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard.
And it's very individual, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, the reasons that got you to where you are very different from reasons that perhaps got other people here today. But I guess that's for us to recognise that that slippery slope, if you call it that, can happen to all of us.
Yeah.
For any number of reasons.
That's it. The people that walk past and look down on us, I'm not being funny, it could happen to you.
Yeah.
It could happen to anybody, a rich person, whatever. Yeah.
Just relationships break down, things go wrong, and you can just slip off.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us today.
Okay.
It really is nice to chat to you. And I hope your situation improves. I really do.
Yeah.
From the bottom of my heart, I hope that you get a roof over your head very soon.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Thank you.
Well, I got to say, we have spoken to 3 people today, but we didn't get one on record because she had a heartbreaking story. We didn't want to share her details. I've got to say, some of the stories I've heard today, and Katy's here too, it makes me angry to think about people that are so judgmental on Facebook and with the comments and stuff now, because you really just do not know what these people have been through. You've no idea, like the hardship that they've been through. And the lady we just spoke to is an example of someone. You can work hard as you like, but you're working in a system that's almost set up for you to fail, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know I'm lucky and privileged to know everyone you've spoken to today. They are all brilliant people. They're proper survivors. I don't think I would be standing here able to tell my story if my story sounded like that. We hear these, it's constant, especially here in the Ark, because people have been let down, and often there is no option for them. The options have never been great, because people will say, they've made really bad choices. If your first choice...
Get a job, yeah.
Well, if the first choice you ever had to make in life, you were 6 years old, and it was to go home to your abuser or go to the park to hang out with kids who are abusing drugs or drinking alcohol, which choice would you make? That's the first choice of a lot of people that we see. And
as well, like trying to get out of that, we heard an example of Cuckooing today. And when you're trying to live and to get out of that, and you've got people abusing the place where you live. Extremely vulnerable people. Yeah. And what we see a lot of the time, and we've got a gentleman in here this morning, one of our clients, he left his accommodation, council provided accommodation in Oswald Street because he felt really unsafe in it. And some of the stories he's told about what was going on there, I wouldn't want to live there either. But because he left by choice, the council now say that there is no duty, because he had accommodation they provided, but he's walked out of it voluntarily. So they have no duty to rehouse him. So he's effectively a refugee in his own county. He is, yes. But he has a car, which he's been sleeping in, and he had a job as a delivery guy for a pizza company. But unfortunately, his car has just packed up today completely. The electrics on it have completely gone. So that is his accommodation and his employment gone. And the housing is saying they have no duty to support him, so there's no temporary accommodation and no permanent accommodation around the corner. In order to go for a private landlord, he needs to save up for a deposit, and now he hasn't got his job. So there is a really vicious... Deposits on private houses are really unattainable at times. They are. You can apply for grant funding for that. Can you?
You can. They can often, through the housing and through the council, they can supply that, but it usually takes quite a few weeks to come through, and in those weeks, you are basically street homeless. So that's saying that it's acceptable for that person to be living on the streets. it's really very difficult. We've got another client in who, he's a much older gentleman, and he has been told that he really only can, he is in temporary accommodation, but he's been in temporary accommodation for over a year. So if you imagine living in a hotel room for over a year, it's no fun, and it's not a nice hotel. He's been told he can only apply for supported accommodation because he's older, because of his various needs. But he doesn't have enough income or housing benefit to cover supported accommodation. So
it's contradictory.
Totally. He's absolutely stuck in a rut. We are applying for a personal independence provision for him. There's no guarantee he'll get that. It's a very rigorous process. It takes 6 to 8 weeks. But that is the only possibility. And that a PIP is actually designed for your extra living costs that you need for the support that it's deemed that you need.
Yeah,
your various,
on top of, yeah.
Exactly. It's not meant for rent, but that is the only way he is ever going to be able to afford the type of housing that the council are saying they will provide for him. It's complete nonsense.
Have there been any positive changes in the systems that are put in place over the last, however long you've been doing this? Or has it always been that bad?
My knowledge of this sector has really only come in the last 6 months because I've been much more hands-on. I do believe, it's always been a problem. There's a problem with housing stock, full stop. I see a lot of very, very good people working within the council and within the housing, but they do not have the tools to help people, and it's really, really difficult. And I know that these the services that are currently there, which aren't enough, are going to be reduced over the next year because of funds. So we're only going to see less availability, less help. And it really, really worries me because there are genuinely quite a lot of people out there to which there is no solution in the current range of options that we have in this county.
It seems like people get written off, like they get seen as the nightmares, the kind of heart sink clients.
Yeah.
So where's compassion in any of this?
Honestly, there isn't really room for compassion within the statutory services. It's very much kind of, do you fit into option A, B, C or D? And if you don't, we have nothing for you. That is absolutely the way it appears to be. And I guess that's a lack of funding and a lack of...
And also when we talk about substance abuse, because people might use that as an excuse, you shouldn't, you're on drugs and stuff. What support is there out there for that in particular? Is there enough?
There's this new multidisciplinary team called Reset that have just started.
I think I met them, yeah.
You may well have met them. That is a joint forces, and it's looking basically at a pilot that's government funded that we're running here in Shropshire. And we really are feeling our way with it. We're kind of hosting it here as we're the safe space for people. But it's for people who have mental health and substance abuse issues and are either homeless or at risk of being homeless. And it's mental health workers, it's substance abuse support workers, there's social prescribers, all sorts of people come in and literally scoop and surround these individuals. It's quite intensive support, and we've never seen anything like that before. And it does appear to be doing some good for some people where there's never been anything for them before. So I'm really, really hopeful about that.
But that's obviously nothing to do with the housing.
No, the housing and the mental health provision is incredibly difficult. If you have somebody come in here who's in a mental health crisis, who's threatening to commit suicide and threatening to harm other people, which we have on occasion because people are in really dire circumstances, and they have quite extensive psychiatric diagnoses that are already there and often have been in prison for violence towards people during psychotic episodes that they may have had, and they are in this place telling us they're going to hurt themselves or someone else. There is nothing. We've tried. I've phoned every single support line, crisis, access, the ambulance and the police. And when you get to the police situation, it's literally until they have committed that crime, we cannot come out. So they can shout from the rooftops.
Yeah, and we saw an incident recently with a lady on the bridge, which I think is... I haven't spoken to some of the people about their stories today. You can kind of, once you hear the context and the details in those stories, you can almost relate to. Because if you've got compassion and you've got empathy and you can put yourself in them situations where you may have lost your kids or you may have lost everything you've ever dreamt,
Yeah.
Or that's all the abuses are all you've ever known, you probably put yourself in that same situation. And it's very sad.
Yeah, and every door
Very sad.
that you knock on, and we are a signposting centre really here. We don't have loads and loads of services that we offer from here. We're a day centre. Food, laundry, and advice is really what.
It's a very nice space. Me and Katie were sitting here talking about how nice this place is and how comfortable we feel here.
That's lovely. I mean, it's home. It's home from home for a lot of people. The only home a lot of people have. But and it is. We try and make it a safe and welcoming space. But we know we go through all the options that we are aware of for these people, and we know there are only closed doors for most of the people that come in here. And if you are in a bad mental state, you have no money at all, you're often self-medicating with substances that you shouldn't be, then actually you can see why they might want to harm themselves, because where is the hope? Where is the hope in those stories when we sit there going, all we can do is give you a sleeping bag and hope that you get through the night and come back for breakfast tomorrow. We often are stuck with that option, and it's heartbreaking.
When it comes to sleeping rough in town centres, there have been a few tactics by certain councils around wherever. I'm not mentioning any council whatsoever. I've seen it in many places, but places to stop homeless people from sleeping. For example, benches with bars across, and I saw that thing in Oaken Gates where it's like they're like mini pyramids underneath a bridge, What is this secret? That's not secret. What this thing? This against people sleeping in the street? Like what else do they expect them to do? I don't understand it.
I mean, when you're not providing any options, it's very difficult, isn't it?
It's perplexing. It really is.
Yeah, but I do understand absolutely the point of view of our local business owners, especially in the town centre.
Of course, yeah.
And it's not nice when your staff are coming in the morning and they're having to climb over
Step
stuff.
over, yeah.
And you don't want to wake someone, even if they feel compassion, they feel bad. But actually, some can feel angry, and some people when they're woken who've not slept all night, because you don't really sleep on the when you're on the streets, but you're waking up and actually you might be in a bad mood, and it's not pleasant for anybody. Nobody wants to be sleeping in a doorway until we get some better solutions. That's all they've got.
I think an important question to ask as well is, are you seeing rising numbers in this community?
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
Scary amounts? I mean, like, how is increased recently? I mean, like...
Well, it's hard for us to tell because we moved from a much smaller premises to
of course,
one. So we were seeing, like 15 to 20 coming in the old day centre every day, and we're up to 50 a day here.
Yeah.
Not everybody is street homeless, but that really doesn't mean that they're not vulnerable or extremely likely to be made homeless or sofa serving or living in temporary accommodation, which isn't a home. You never know where you're going to get moved next, and it's not a situation anybody wants to be in for very long, to be in temporary accommodation. I mean, I definitely think that the council have done an awful lot since COVID, putting people in temporary accommodation and trying, and the rough sleepers team here are very good. They have an amazing staff team there, but there really isn't the places to move them on from. That's where you get stuck. So they can be in hotels. It costs a fortune. It's no solution. And then what's the council meant to do next? It's got to build. I think we've just got to build. And look for different housing solutions, modular housing, shipping container housing, different options.
I've seen things, online where they have solutions for small bits of housing.
Yeah,
on vast areas.
Yeah, I know the council are looking at those. Nothing happens quickly, and nothing is cheap.
Okay, so this episode just kind of ended here because there were things that Emily needed to attend to. There's lots going on at the Ark. It's a busy place in a good way, and Emily had to go off and give her attention somewhere else, which is what she does. It's fantastic. So it kind of just ended here, but to add a note onto this episode in particular. Of course, it's not easy to sit and listen to these stories, but it's also really important to document these people's lives in a way just to show you guys that it's not always as plain as go and get a job or stay off the drugs. That there are situations that require a little bit of insight and a little bit of understanding, and this is the best way we can do this is by giving these people a voice. Thank you so much to Katy Rink for joining us. She was fantastic. She's so wonderful. We complimented each other so well. I'd ask questions that she didn't think of, and she'd ask questions that I didn't think of. So it was great to have her expertise alongside me on this one. Again, please support the Ark in any way you can, whether it's just giving them a follow on Facebook, and check them out on everything. And if there's ways that you can help out, please do, because Shrewsbury is for everybody, and that is literally everybody. It's not just your town, it's not just my town, it's everybody's town. And the Shrewsbury Ark make it possible for people to survive. And this was great. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you're listening to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast for the first time, please give us a follow on social media. The Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast is on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and it's on LinkedIn and on TikTok too. We did quite a bit for an audio-only podcast. For an audio-only podcast, we look quite good on the visuals there. So give us a follow. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will catch you guys next time. Peace out.